This is another one. I thought we put this one in there. But anyway, this is a book that we've been doing a lot, again, publications. And so in this one, grade 6 put together a calendar based on, obviously, the Greeks. They had to design a page within the calendar, design part of their calendar, why it connected to that month, and then they had these exhibitions. One of the things that you'll see within our school is that we're really, really prominent about how students exhibit their work. We want the exhibition, we want it to be a celebration. So in this case, you'll see here, it's probably about 100 or 200 people came to this exhibition, where the students stand up and talk about their work, why they did it, the process they went to, and what they would do differently. And in this idea of a publication, a celebration, a festival of their work to the world. Because I know I've been a humanities teacher, but I work with a lot of math, science, and engineers. And one of the things that I've noticed when I first did my projects, that if I would take essays and I would grade them, I would give them back to the students, and then they didn't really go anywhere, really. And the motivation for the students was slightly lacking. When I came to High Tech High, I realized, wow, the audience is not me. It's the world, it's the community. And so the writing and their projects got better because they knew about 200 to 300 people were coming to look at their work. And so you'll see that a real prominent feature in our schools is exhibition of learning, is how are the students going to demonstrate their learning to the world? And then the last question is, where is the work going to live when it's done? This is a Japanese, for those of you who have some math teachers in here, Senguko is kind of a Japanese geometric puzzles. And so we have the students kind of take on an idea of an icon. In this case, this person is looking at this historical figure and then creating geometric puzzles based on the icon itself. And so within this piece, students not only had to pick the icon, design the geometric puzzles, but then they had to give them to each other. And they had to test if they worked. And then they had to critique them to make sure they worked. And then eventually each one, which are about yay big, were displayed in our entire school, so people would go around the building testing geometric puzzles as they walk through the school. So this is a resume of a 12th grade student. We're in a deep recession in California, and so there's a lot of folks looking for jobs. And so we've been playing with the idea of infograph. How do people explain who they are in a different way? And so you'll see this, an example of a student who designed basically a resume about where she is and where she's going and what she wants to do. This is another one. And this one is, again, a resume of a student who clearly loves bacon. But they did it in kind of an interesting way. Not only do they have the chart, but they decided that they really wanted to make it kind of eye-grabbing, but also kind of inventive in the fact that right up the top is kind of a QR code here that links directly to their digital portfolio. Because all of our students have a digital portfolio that displays and archives their work. Not only as an example of the project there, but their reflection on the project as well. And so this student, I don't know if they got a job from this resume or not. We'll find out. We'll see where they end up. So another thing, as I mentioned, is we're trying to have students create new knowledge. How can they take something that they understand and create something new? One of the things that we don't want to see is when we see projects that become inert, where really they take a project, they research something, they print it out, and that's their project. That's not what we're aiming for. Instead, we're trying to have students create something that does not exist in a way that they can transform their information. So this was a project about cartography. And in this case, students had to examine San Diego arena. For those of you who don't know, this is Coronado. Top Gun, right? For those of you that don't remember the movie, okay. This part is the other part of San Diego. And San Diego is separate by economics. You know, people that live closer to the water tend to have more money. People that live away from the water tend to have less money in San Diego. And so what students did in this project, they examined banks versus cash checking locations. And they noticed where are banks in the city compared to check cashing locations. And so they figured out, wow, in areas in which people have more money, there's a lot of banks you can go into. In areas where there's not as much money, there's check cashing places. They're understanding it that way. So the one student put this one together. Another student who's into skateboarding decided to look at how to skate parks in San Diego, representing parks in San Diego where you can skate versus where you can also have dogs. Something that they were passionate, again, stuff that does not exist yet in the world. And this last project is we want our students building something, but then understanding how it works as well. And so this is the 12th grade project where students design chairs. And in this you'll see the students not only build the chair, they build a prototype of it, they actually put all the designs in a book, but then also explain all the mathematics behind it. This last one explains how a vanishing point, all these slats actually go off into a vanishing point. It is called Lebowski, for those of you who know the movie. And then they had to display these at an exhibition. I actually have one in my backyard that I was, basically greedily bought from a student because I thought it was really great. But these are just, again, some of the projects that we have in our school. They don't represent everything in our school, but we really do encourage teachers to put all of their work up there. So if you go to our website, you'll see each teacher has a digital portfolio. When you get on there, you'll see student projects, and you'll see years of a project examples, because we look at projects of each other's for inspiration and for reflection in our school.